Welcome to the podcast on today's show with Good Girl Snacks. Thanks for joining. Either one of you can take the question. What does your company do?
Go for it.
Good Girl Snacks is kind of our take on a new gen snacking product. And we started with Hot Girl Pickles, which is basically a hotter pickle.
Like spicy hot or like?
Both.
Okay.
So we kind of walked into the grocery store aisle and we saw that the pickle section was so boring. There was no flavor innovation, no packaging innovation, nothing fun. And then you walked into the beverage aisle and the snacks aisle and there's explosions of colors, different flavors. And so we kind of stepped in as the cooler pickle product.
And do you guys like pickles out the gate? Like, because of all the things you can be doing with your life, you're young, you're in LA, to start a pickle company is an interesting thing to dedicate your time to.
Yeah, well, we saw a trend on TikTok.
Okay.
That was really how it started. So in 2014, everyone was eating avocado toast suddenly. I don't know if you remember that,
Yeah.
but we kind of saw
like
the same.
Instagram days. TikTok's
Exactly,
not really out yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, Facebook's kind of moving over as a dormant player. Yeah.
And we kind of saw the same thing happening with pickles. So you would scroll on TikTok, especially us being huge foodies. Like our algorithm was just food videos, recipes, restaurants, whatever.
Crushes.
And we would just see pickle video after pickle video after pickle video.
And what's in the video that's like, what's the thing? Is it just?
There was like 3 trends that went viral. So the chickle, which was the cheese wrapped pickle. The chamoy pickle kit, which was a pickle wrapped in chamoy. There was that pickle sweatshirt that also went viral.
Yeah.
And those videos accumulated 9.5 billion views on the hashtag pickle and pickles combined on TikTok.
Okay.
So we're like, okay, there's something here.
So you're dialed in. You're paying attention to this.
Yeah.
You're seeing something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And on top of that, there was girls just like eating pickles in front of their camera and just saying, "Hot girls eat pickles," and they were eating them. Just, that's
and that
the
content
video.
was doing well.
And
You're
that
seeing
content
that content
was,
do well.
Yeah, people were reposting it,
Okay.
commenting, engaging, being like, "Oh my God, pickles are my favorite." And so we saw this whole phenomenon of also girls saying, hot girls have stomach problems, hot girls do this, hot girls do that, like the whole hot girl walk phenomenon.
Okay.
And we just kind of hopped on and we were like, there's no pickle brands that are catering to this demographic of women that all engage in the same kind of content,
That's so
participate
true.
in the same trends. And most of the pickle brands that we saw, first of all, weren't organic, but then also had just boring packaging, like Leah was saying, and no one was selling to this customer and targeting this specific customer despite the huge trend that was happening
It wasn't
on
fun.
social media. Yeah.
It was just like these legacy brands
Yeah.
trying to do their best. But it was really the TikToker or the creator making it fun.
Exactly.
Okay, so then, so you're seeing this, interesting. And then what's your first step?
So we kind of, obviously we had to do a ton of research and talk to people in the industry because I came from a tech background. Yas came from an art background. Like,
And are
we
you
had
guys
no idea.
in school at the time?
No, so we were.
So you just graduated?
We just
Yeah.
graduated.
Okay.
We were a year into our first full-time jobs, felt really unfulfilled, saw the trend on TikTok, and then we were like, okay, maybe this is crazy, but maybe it's not. So let's talk to some people in the industry and see what they have to say. And a lot of people just pushed us to do it. We got introduced to consultants, which have been in the food business space forever, and they kind of held our hand through the entire process. So that was really the first step. And then we did the branding and the marketing in parallel with like the food science product aspect of it.
Okay.
So that by the time we would launch the product February 2024, we already had established our social media. We already had 20,000 followers, like all this crazy stuff.
And what was the content you were putting out to get the following?
We started a series.
Okay.
So we were building in public and posting every single day starting October 2023.
Okay, so you're posting every single day. And what do you post? What's the content?
We started the series, which was like day one of starting a pickle company with my best friend in our early 20s. People were like, hold on a second. You started a pickle company, you're in your early 20s, and you started this with your best friend, and you quit your stable job to do it. You're so dumb. That was generally why people were following us.
But we're going to watch.
But we're
Because
gonna
how
watch.
fun is this story?
And then we were posting those almost every single day, and so people saw like a really authentic, raw journey
on TikTok, primarily.
on Reels too.
Right. But primarily the growth took off, I assume. TikTok does better with
On
that content,
Reels.
it seems. Okay, so you guys saw it on
Yeah.
Reels.
So it was. I feel like TikTok, you don't really follow people though.
Yeah.
So like people were seeing our content more on their For You page, and then they would go follow us on Instagram.
Okay.
So we have a lot more followers on Instagram, but
Got it.
yeah, it was like people following us out of curiosity and out of like, what the fuck are you doing? And then
Yeah.
they were like, wait, you're actually doing something really cool. And then we started building a cult following in that way.
Okay. And this is before you have a product.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are in the lab making a product. And like, now that you're in the pickle game, you're like, okay, well, if we're going to be in the pickle game, how do we make it taste the way we want? And so what was that? What was that like?
Well, I think we were pretty unsatisfied with the pickles that we were eating at the grocery
This is
store.
such a hilarious conversation.
Yeah.
I know.
It's like so good.
No, literally, like, story of our lives. People are like, "What do you do for work?" And we're like, "We're in the pickle industry,
We're
actually."
in the pickle business.
We walked
Yeah, we're in the
into
pickle
Erewhon the
business.
other day and everyone was like, the pickle girls.
The pickle girls. And it's not like pickleball. It's like the pickles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People usually think we mean pickleball when
Of
we
course.
say like I make pickles. They're like, "Oh, you mean pickleball?" I'm like, "No, like actual pickles."
Yeah.
But yeah, we were pretty unsatisfied with the products that we were trying out, and we felt like all of them were kind of lacking flavor, or they were too salty and they were missing that like
Okay.
acidic touch that we like.
Yeah.
And Leah and I are both Middle Eastern, so like grew up eating pickles like with every meal.
Yeah.
And we had weirdly a very clear vision for the two flavors we wanted to do, and we knew that we
Okay.
wanted them to be inspired by the flavors of the Middle East and the stuff that we grew up eating. And so we knew we wanted just a basic original dill pickle flavor.
Yeah.
We added turmeric to the brine to make it a little bit more zesty and a little brighter, and then
This is the funniest.
yeah, and then we wanted like a spicy one, so we were brainstorming what we could do. And at the time, there was also that huge trend with hot honey.
Yeah.
And we were like, why don't we do it like honey harissa? And just,
Oh.
you know, it's like a different level of spice. It's a bit more like flavorful than just a typical like jalapeno or like habanero
Yeah.
chili. And so, yeah, we tried those out. Initially, we were making them in our kitchens,
Yeah.
and it tasted horrible. It tasted like cucumber salad.
What's the hard part of it? Is it like, what's the hard, for people that may want to follow your lead just on the side, what is the hard part of making it happen?
I think taking the leap is the hardest part.
I
and
mean, like the
really-
pickle, like making the pickle
Oh,
taste
I thought
good.
you meant like starting your pickle business.
No, no, no.
Please don't start a pickle business.
I think the hardest part, well, a lot of it is there's kind of a scientific approach to it, because you need to figure out the right water to vinegar ratio to
Okay.
get like a good pH so that the
Yeah.
the cucumber actually pickles.
Yeah.
And so that part was difficult for us. And then also you need to have the right ingredients, and
Sure.
a pickling cucumber, you can't just use like, you know, any English cucumber from the supermarket. It's not going to taste the same.
Okay.
So we were lucky to work with a food scientist very early on, and she helped us, you know, develop the recipes. We kind of like handed
Okay.
our ideas to her, and we were like, this is how we want them to taste. This is what we've done so far.
Help
And then
us
she
out.
took those and made them into what they are now.
And so at this time, you guys are working full time, and what are you telling your families? Like, what is
We
the
had quit.
story and your friends? So you quit. All right.
Yeah.
So
We quit summer 2023, started posting on social media October 2023, launched February 2024, sold out 2 to 3 months after that,
Okay.
reformulated based on customer feedback, launched a new formula August 2024, and
Okay.
now we've had the same formula, and we got into Erewhon in January, and Bristol Farms in
Coming
April,
soon, yeah.
coming soon,
This month.
and then other bigger retailers now. So we're really pushing into big retailers, and we've done that very quickly because we have the demand, we have a huge social media following, and
Totally.
we have an organic product, which a lot of other pickle brands on the market aren't organic. We're also coming out with
Interesting.
2 new flavors and a new product, so we're moving quickly.
Yeah. But what is your family thinking when you guys are like, okay, we quit our jobs, I'm going to start this company? Are they like, hell yeah, do it? Or are they terrified for you guys and saying like, do you need me to send you money? Like, how
I
are you
feel
going
like-
to live?
So Leah comes from a family of entrepreneurs, and so they were
Okay.
like, hell yeah, do it.
We
You're
love
a
it.
Well, they
queen,
had
love
question
it."
marks for
They
sure.
had
at
question
first.
marks,
They were
Yeah,
like they
a
were
couple
both-
hurdles to
Yeah.
clear, but you got,
Yeah.
My parents had question marks for sure.
Okay.
My parents were a little like, okay, like this is interesting. They don't live in the US, and they're not really tapped into like the trends that we see.
Right.
And so they were kind of like, pickles, like, is that a thing? Do people eat those? Like, we buy them like once a year, maybe.
Sure.
Is that a real snack? And so they kind of had,
Those are good questions too. So how big is the pickle market in America? Do you guys know?
yeah, it's close to $13 billion.
$13 billion
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah.
9.5 billion hashtags you said on TikTok
At the time, now
Yeah.
it's more.
Now it's more.
Now
Yeah.
it's more. and
Okay, those are
so-
good. Those are good indicators
was-
of a
yeah.
large market.
Yeah, and I mean, Pinterest did a whole like trend forecast for 2025, and Pickles was at the forefront of that report.
Yeah.
We went to Expo West, which is like a huge convention, and everyone had a pickle flavor thing. So it's definitely a
This
trend.
year? Okay.
Yeah, this year.
Okay.
It's definitely a trend, and we came in and we saw the trend, and now we're like at the forefront of that conversation because of our branding and marketing.
Yeah.
But also, again, just like the flavors are so different. There's not that many Gen Zers in food and beverage, so that also
Totally.
is interesting to people. And we think of Pickles kind of like how Amazon started with books. So like
So
it's
you're
our
creating
first
a lifestyle
thing.
brand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Good Girl Snacks is kind of the umbrella. Hot Girl Pickles is the product, and then we're hoping to come out with new products down the line.
And is your customer mostly female based on the branding of it, or is it is?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is.
So you're speaking directly to
Yeah.
her. That's
Well,
interesting.
if you think about who's shopping at the grocery store,
for sure, it's smart.
I mean, it's just data, but like
Yeah.
it is a woman.
It's a woman.
Yeah.
And a lot of snacks / food items, especially in this like new gen category, are not necessarily marketing to women. Like Chomps, 70% of their consumers are women, and to me, that is being marketed to a man more so than a woman.
Okay.
So if you're directly
It's like
speaking,
sports bars in LA.
yeah, exactly.
So
If
shitty.
if you're directly communicating to a woman, I feel like it just converts.
Yeah, because
lot
they're the
more.
shopper. They're the
Yeah.
one putting
Yeah.
in the cart. That's so interesting. So when it comes to you guys thinking about new products, so I had Somos on the podcast. Basically, I asked them, like, how do they create new recipes? And one of the things they said they do, and they use AI to do this, is they'll use AI to basically say, show me all the top items nationwide on Mexican restaurant menus. And at some point, like, street corn came up. So like it was like a new thing. And so then they
Yeah.
made a street corn rice. And so they use this like AI to search all the menus, and then it allows them to pick up the new trend. Essentially, that's happening in parts of the country where you might not be early to the party on. How are you guys doing stuff like that? Like, because do you look at it like you're going to have your hero products 1 and 2, and then how do you create new SKUs?
Well, I think the easy part is that we're our own target customer. So we think about our own habits and like our own consumption. And
Okay.
in addition to like looking at the supermarket and where, like which aisles are sleepy, like what's a product that, you know, maybe you used to snack on and you don't anymore, or what's this product that, you know,
interesting.
people snack on that could be made better, that could be improved, made healthier.
Yeah.
Or where just the packaging is boring and you could come in and really stand out on the shelf because you're the only one with interesting looking packaging and not like the conventional stuff that you've seen for decades.
Yeah.
Also, we have such a big community on social media, and they ask us
They
for
tell
stuff.
you what they want.
Yeah. And so we listen.
It's smart.
Yeah, if companies are getting comments on their videos or posts and they're not listening to what their customers are saying, I feel like that's just
That happens
dumb.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Like this is kind of hacky and it happened a little bit on accident, but we did a taste test of our new products and we had people guess in the comments what the flavor was. And so
fun.
many people guessed like all these crazy flavors, and we got so many ideas from those comments that we would have never thought about before. We just kind of hacked the system a little bit.
That's so incredibly smart. All right, so what's next for you guys? Like, what products do you guys want to come out
can't
with?
say.
You can't say.
No.
What about like
Yeah.
dream collabs that you guys would like? Like, is there a pickle influencer in the game that you guys are like this person?
We've been super lucky to have already realized a lot of those dreams. Like even in the last couple weeks, we collabed with Sweetgreen. Hallie
Nice.
Batchelder posts us all the time. It was part of the Unwell Network, and that was like our number one goal for such a long time because she
Okay.
makes pickle martinis all the time. Same with Alex Earl. She already posted our product.
Yeah.
So I think now it's more so like who makes more sense to like attract a new demographic almost.
Yeah.
Like maybe someone older, more on the millennial, maybe Tinks.
I would love for Tinks. We
Yeah.
love Tinks. Or
What about
we
like
love,
Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah, she'd be great
From
too. We
Goop?
love GP. She's a
Or
queen.
Good Kitchen could be an easy collab. That seems
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. I was thinking like complete opposite end of the spectrum. I was
Okay.
thinking like Trisha Paytas. Like
Yeah, Trisha.
I love
We-
Trisha or
yeah.
like Snooki. Like those
Snooki.
are
Oh,
fun.
Snooki's,
Yeah.
yes, that's, okay,
That's a
Snooki
fun
has
one.
a whole thing with pickles.
Yeah.
It's like, she's obsessed with pickles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything more
Manifesting.
traditional and like just basically working with chefs on certain things?
Yeah, we've had so many ideas when we started the business. We knew we wanted to leave the possibility of partnering with either a chef or like a content creator on a flavor. That could be really cool. So that's something we're super open to. We just haven't found like the right partnership yet.
Yeah. And
But
how are
yeah.
you guys funding this? Do you have capital? Did you raise capital? Is it savings, or where are you at in that whole process?
So we bootstrapped initially, and just now we closed our first ever round pre-seed.
Congrats.
So yeah.
Yeah.
How much did you raise?
We're not saying that.
But is it mostly
publicly.
angels in the deal, or do you
Yeah,
have any like
It's-
strategics?
We have Collab Fund that led the round, and they've been
Okay.
amazing to work with.
And so when it came to give people a window into this, so for the entrepreneur listening, because what you're creating has way more implications for a lifestyle brand than, let's say, like a pickle company. I don't think like Vlasic's going to acquire you. They might, but for that, they'd be acquiring your IP. And so as you guys are going out and thinking about the valuation, like it's the story that's resonating, I imagine,
Yeah.
with the fund, right?
Yeah.
It's the brand you guys are creating. They see it. They see the firepower. Some of the
Yeah.
collabs you guys mentioned. Is that really the thing?
I think
Totally.
it's the cult following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really. Like we've been able to rally such a large group of people around us and the product, and being the face of the brand also makes it so much easier to come out with new products and really have people trust the brand because
Yeah.
they know who's behind it, which I think is something that's becoming more and more important to consumers. And yeah, I think also just opportunity, like we mentioned earlier, there's such a trend with pickles now.
Yeah.
And there's so many leaders in the space that are doing pickle flavored things. Like Hot Cheetos just came out with a pickle flavor.
I don't know why I was thinking of that. I was like, a hot
yeah.
Cheeto pickle. It seems to make sense.
Yeah. So I think,
Trend-wise.
Yeah.
Like, maybe there's something
Yeah.
there.
yeah. And I think A plus B plus C
Yeah.
equals D.
And we
Like,
disrupted a category that hadn't been disrupted in forever. I think if you launch a beverage company, for example, these days, it's so much harder to stand out because you have so
Yeah.
much competition. But for us, I think we're able to gather the cult following not only because of, the voice we use on social media, the content we put out, the story we put out, but also because people are genuinely intrigued by the product because they haven't seen anything like it before.
Yeah. No, it's I find it hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's compelling. Like, I'm sure that's why people are watching.
Yeah.
If you were to give the playbooks, let's say 5 years from now, 6 years from now, you sell the company, you maybe sell for 100 million, something super fun like that. What do you think the playbook is for people your age starting businesses today? And so if they're just getting out of college and they're thinking about this, right? There's two modes that, at least when I was starting companies, like one is you go in stealth mode and you just you just cook. You're in the kitchen and then all of a sudden you boom, day one, you go. And you launch with like someone epic, some celebrity, Tom Brady or something like that. What you guys are doing is like this organic, get to know the founders in a real way. Do you think the old method still works?
I think it still works, but it's a lot more expensive. We've spent
Okay.
$0 on marketing. We have a $0 CAC, which we wouldn't have been able to do if we hadn't put ourselves out there and have created this huge
Interesting.
community.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do it the other way, where you're in stealth mode and then you launch with a celebrity, one, the celebrity has a ton of equity. Two, you have to
Right.
put a ton of ad spend into putting the product in front of people. So if you have the money and you want to do it that way, you totally can and can have a successful business. But if you want to be scrappier about it, use the
Yeah.
tools that are available to you,
Yeah.
which is social media. It's free.
It's so free.
And I think
That's so true.
consumers are getting tired of celebrity brands. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times it doesn't feel authentic to the celebrity. It's like, okay, why is this person launching this company? Like
That's
they've
right.
never mentioned anything about it. And so I think for us, being the face of the brand ourselves has been effective for our marketing strategy.
Yeah, that's so fun. So when do you guys launch new SKUs? When will that happen?
So hopefully one will come out in the next few months,
Okay.
sooner rather than later, fingers crossed.
And you're
then
launching at Erewhon specifically, or will you do online?
We'll probably do online first
Okay.
and then see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then with the other one, hoping to have it be like an exclusive with a retailer.
Nice.
We can't really say which one yet,
No,
but
that's exciting.
probably something around the fall
Okay.
is what
And
we're
when you guys
thinking.
do the launch online, are you on Amazon or are you guys fulfilling it yourself?
Yeah, it's just on our website.
Okay. And you guys
Yeah,
are doing
and
that
we-
yourselves? Or do you have
We
like a distribution warehouse
we
at
have
this
a
point?
fulfillment center that does it for us.
Nice.
We thought about doing Amazon, but it was just too complicated because we have custom shipping packaging. And so
Yeah.
if you're doing
They don't allow
FBA,
that.
you have to like send it to them prepackaged. And that was
Yeah.
just like a mess to do.
Yeah. If you want to own the customer, it's much better and own the
Yeah.
experience. Otherwise, Amazon will put their like ugly packaging or
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Well, that's exciting. So you just raised a round. That's
Yeah.
amazing. How do you feel getting
Good.
that behind you?
Honestly, we didn't know what we were doing. It was our first time doing this, and it was really scary because pitching yourself like on a podcast or telling your story on social media is so different than switching the story around to make it make sense in front of an investor.
Yeah.
But we figured it out, and we did it fairly quickly. So
Yeah.
we closed it in like 2 weeks.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
It was insane. Yeah.
What else can you tell us about 2025? Where do you want to take it? Where do you want to take it next year?
We have a brand new product coming out that's completely separate to what we've been doing.
So not Pickles.
No, it is Pickles, but it's
Okay.
in a different format,
Okay.
if that makes sense. And we're really excited about that. And then we're also super excited because we're doing an activation at Coachella, which has been a dream
nice.
of ours since we started the company.
Like you'll have like
Yeah.
a little booth?
Yeah, and
Nice.
we got approached to do it, and we were just losing our minds a little bit. It was so fun, and we're really excited to see how it goes.
Yeah.
It's definitely really stressful working with a cold. We're shelf stable, but obviously we want to serve the pickles cold, and it's 100 degrees in the desert, so we're figuring that part out. But yeah, we're really excited about that.
Yeah, we're also going to be entering a new store in LA. We're going to be in Bristol Farms across all locations in Southern California.
Yeah.
So we're super excited for that.
So I have to ask this question. Will you guys ever consider going on Shark Tank?
We actually got asked to be on Shark Tank, and we got on a couple meetings to do it. We're not saying no, but I think it is a big time commitment, and we're really focused on building the company right now. And also, we have the eyeballs that we need through our socials. So
You
with
don't need
things
it.
like this, it's hard to understand like if it's worth our time or not and what the ROI on it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, it'd be awesome to go on it one day. I think
Yeah.
just right now our priorities are.
Yeah, we had
being
Cakes
in
Body
the
on the
trenches.
podcast.
Yeah.
Do you know Cakes Body? You should look
Oh,
them up.
yeah,
We had
yeah,
them on
yeah.
the podcast super
Yeah.
early. And then they went on Shark Tank. And so I asked them, like, what is it? They're a $100 million company now.
Yeah.
But I asked them, like, what was it like, the bump? And they said it was like a really good viral video on TikTok. And it was the first time I had ever got that answer.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to maybe like 50 companies that have been on Shark Tank. And it's always, oh my God, we did like 2x last year's revenue. And their answer was like, it did nothing for us.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean,
TikTok virality is way more
Totally.
impactful revenue.
Also, by the time the episode airs, the
Yeah,
product
you're
is
a
just
different-
so different. You're at such a different.
you're a different business.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, look at Poppy. Like when they presented at Shark Tank, they were called Mother, I think, or Mothers,
Okay.
and they just looked like a completely different product. It tasted completely
It was in a
different.
glass bottle.
It was in a glass bottle, and now they were just acquired for almost $2 billion, and the product is like
Yeah.
it's like a new product. It has nothing to do with it.
Well, look, tell everyone where you're gonna have to come back when you guys get a little further along and tell what other products you're up to. But tell people where they can find you, where they can shop, where they can follow.
So if you're in LA, you can shop us at Erewhon and Bristol Farms, and then online, goodgirlsnacks.com for everybody else. We're also in a couple other stores, and we have a store locator on the website, and then it's at Good Girl Snacks on social media.
Thanks for coming on the pod.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
us.
for having us.
Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, share with your friends, your family, or anyone you might think might benefit from the conversation we've had today. And if you haven't already, please take a moment to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. We'd greatly appreciate it. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more people who can benefit from our discussions. The best way to stay connected with us and get the latest updates on future episodes is through our social media channels. You can find us at Startup Storefront. We'll be back next Tuesday with another great episode. See you then.